What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Nintendo Friends, where we talk about everything Nintendo. Today, we're going to be talking about our favorite handheld console games. I'm your host, DA, aka Hector, and with me as always is my co-host and fellow gamer, Abel. How you doing today, Abel?
What's up, guys? I'm doing well. How you doing, Hector?
I'm feeling really good because, we've been a little bit more consistent with our content.
Yeah,
with our podcast, and we got a lot of stuff on our YouTube page and a lot of stuff coming,
Yeah, a lot of stuff yet to come, so keep on the lookout for that, guys.
Yeah, man, be on the lookout. We got, right now we got... our Nintendo Newbie which is a segment that we used to do here on the podcast, where it was just a snippet of, we get an individual to play a Nintendo game that they've never before experienced,
right.
And then we get their thoughts and their feelings, what they liked, what they didn't like, all of that stuff. So instead of it just being a little snippet here on our podcast, we have a whole video series.
Video segment.
Just dedicated to that. Yeah. And it's called Nintendo Newbie. So go check it out if you haven't on our YouTube page.
Great gameplay, too.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, man, I love the way it came out. But alas, today we are podcasting today. And what we've got is our favorite Nintendo handheld games. So last show, we spoke about our favorite Nintendo console games. So basically, went down the line of the Nintendo home consoles, and we spoke about our favorite games on that console. Right? So now we're going to do the same thing, but with the handheld consoles.
Right.
And it's funny because when you think about Nintendo, a lot of it is like handheld too. And that's really...
I would go as far as to say most of it's handheld.
When you think about like Sony and you think about Xbox, right? You think about both of those, the PlayStation and the Xbox. It's purely home console.
Right.
Xbox doesn't have anything handheld at the moment. PlayStation, they did dabble a little bit with the PSP, PS Vita, all of that. But it's very limited into what they have for handheld. But Nintendo has always been able to have a home console and have something for when you're on the go. And that's just something that sets Nintendo apart, that they do really well. And I don't know, that's
it's that catering to to whatever you might be going through right now, to travelers, to people who work from home. It's great. You can pretty much go anywhere and see Nintendo and play Nintendo.
Yeah, and now with the Switch, they broke the system. They have it to where like, oh man, I'm playing on my TV. Then you take it off, you gotta go. You can take it on the go with you and still be playing what you're playing. It's so amazing, so great. So first off, we're gonna go ahead and start with the Game Boy / Game Boy Color, and this goes for all of the iterations of the Game Boy Pocket, the original Game Boy Color, just the whole Game Boy line in general. So for that, I want to go with Pokemon Blue.
Being
my favorite, yeah.
The OG.
So the OG, man. It's funny because we spoke about this on one of our YouTube videos. I recently bought a brand new copy of Pokemon Blue.
Yeah.
It's literally in the mintest condition. I have it here in my hand. It is. Here, take a look at that. And if you want to see it, go ahead and check out our video that we did about our rare Nintendo surprise, our retro Nintendo surprise, and it's shown on there. And it is literally, oh man, it's so good. I got it for actually a really good deal, and oh my, it looks brand spanking new. It looks brand spanking new, and the memories that I have with this game. Listen to it. The memories that I have with this game, man. It's God. This is the game that introduced me to Pokemon. It is my favorite Pokemon game of all time. That's everything that they've ever come out with.
Right.
And I'm playing it now. Like I'm going back and I'm playing it right now, and just the music, the environment.
And we were talking about it too. Sorry to interrupt.
No,
we were talking about it just a little while ago because he was playing it kind of right before we started getting things set up. And the music, it sounds so the sound
that's right, yeah.
was so crisp and clean, and like it just sounded good. And I was like, man, like it's surprising.
It sounds so clear, man.
Yeah,
and like
for the age, for everything, the sound effects were so on point.
And I don't mean to call you out, but like the for it being a game that's older than Abel, like it's
sure.
literally older than our co-host here. It sounded so clean. It's just a testament to what Nintendo can do, and how not just Nintendo but Game Freak as well.
Yeah, of course.
Shouts out to them. They've been making Pokemon games since day one, and I don't know, man. it holds a special place in people's hearts. That and the red version, yellow version, right? Just the original ones, right? And oh my god, it's unmatched for me. Like nothing else can match like that for me. The original soundtrack is what really I think holds it, because it's not really a game that is graphics wise is so like up there, obviously because of the time that it came out and what it looks like. It's very pixelated, but man,
it came out for the original Game Boy.
And then like once the Game Boy Color came out, they added the little splash of color to it, and it's just it is just still, it holds up so well. And I'm gonna continue to play it till probably the end of time, so that's what I would have for my favorite Game Boy game. So nice. What you got, man?
All right, this is kind of where we kind of differentiate in like the games that we were exposed to growing up. So I had never been exposed to the original Pokemon games. Actually, I was exposed to Yellow because my sister had Yellow, but I never played the original Pokemon games until like fairly recently, when I dug up all those old cartridges that we had like stored away. But one game that I did always hold near and dear to my heart, that is a pretty good, like, it's also a really well-known game. It started out on the Game Boy Color, and like it's a great series, and one that I hold near and dear to my heart is Shantae, the original Shantae game.
That's right.
For
you
Game
know what's
Boy
funny?
Color.
I've never played that game.
Shantae, it's a great game and a great series too.
Let me know about it. What's going on in there?
So it's pretty much like a little dive into the story. Shantae is pretty much on a sort of like it's kind of like pirate themed, but also too, Shantae finds out that she is a genie and she has these special powers, and she has to like fight evil pirates pretty much. And the whole aesthetic of the game is real cool. It's like Indian, kind of like Middle Eastern vibe to it. The soundtrack is great. It has all those like kind of like Middle Eastern sitar Indian aesthetic to it. And it's super great. The whole vibe of the game is great, and it combines like magic and like pirates and like smugglers, and like the whole theme of the game. It's super interesting, and but it's a great little side scroller game. And the power-ups are great. Shantae's a great character. I always love the designs of all the characters in the Shantae series, especially in the later games when they become more defined, past beyond like just sprites. But Shantae is a great game. It's super fun
what's
to play.
The full name of it again?
The original game? It's just Shantae.
It's just Shantae.
Yeah, Shantae.
I know that
there's the name of the character.
They've made iterations of it for the Switch.
Yeah,
like they brought it back, or they've remade games, or it's, I don't know, maybe they're sequel games.
Yeah, there's other games.
I see them on the Nintendo eShop all the time.
Yeah.
And like ads for it, and like people love that character Shantae. So I don't know, man, and I've never been able to play a Shantae game. So maybe once this is over, I'll look on the eShop and like purchase my first Shantae game.
I need to dive into like the Switch Shantae games too, because I have only ever been exposed to the original Shantae game.
Was this a Game Boy game, or like was it Game Boy Color?
It was Game Boy Color.
Game Boy Color. Okay.
Yeah, it was Game Boy Color, and like I said, the graphics in that game are super colorful, but it's really fun. It's a fun game.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed the heck of it,
the heck out of it. Yeah.
I enjoyed the heck out of it when I was a kid, and I still enjoy it now. So that's what I got for Game Boy.
Yeah. For the next one that we have is Game Boy Advance. Now, let me go first, because my Game Boy Advance pick is so like random, and it's like it's not what you think it is. Like there's so many good Game Boy Advance games. There's stuff like Advance Wars. There's stuff like Final Fantasy Tactics Advance, there's stuff like the Mario game, Super Mario Land, or there's stuff like the Minish Cap, there's all of those great games, right? Games, oh man, a bunch of stuff. My pick for this one is I decided to go with something that's really different, something that I had a bunch of memories just playing over and over again, and something that I still have to this day. So my pick for Game Boy Advance is Finding Nemo.
The Finding Nemo game.
Game Boy Advance.
Oh
game.
yeah.
Just this game, man. I don't know. My cousin had it when we were kids.
Yeah.
My cousin Paloma. Shout out to Paloma, and she was the only one who had a Game Boy Advance SP at the time. And this is one of the games that she had, and it's funny because like we have a bunch of cousins in our family, and the way that we played this game was that we would, when somebody would die or when somebody would, the next stage, it would go to the next person, and we would just be passing around.
Really?
Whenever she was in town, yeah, just passing around the Nintendo Game Boy Advance SP. But this game it's so charming. The soundtrack is incredible. It's very the gameplay is fantastic, and for it being a Game Boy Advance game, it looks amazing. Like when you think about when this game came out, like 2003, and you look at like some of the things that were on the Game Boy Advance, like that tried to like teeter and balance like the graphics into like kind of realistic, but still, being bound by the Game Boy Advance's power and like
that's true.
Just the processing power of the Game Boy Advance. And this game looks really incredible. The way that it does the water, the way that it does the backgrounds, the way that it shows how they're underwater, the way that it like the textures.
I remember
and everything.
the reflection of the fish on the characters, like because you're talking about the one where I don't know if there's any other Finding Nemo game, but it's the one where you're playing as Nemo, right? And you're kind of just like moving the rocks around and stuff like that. Yeah.
Like hitting them, and
the animation for him, just that still animation is very well done.
You play as different characters. So like you play as Nemo. You start off playing as Nemo, and then as the story progresses, you play as Marlin. You can play as Dory. You play as just different people, different characters.
Yeah.
You play as different characters in the game, and it is just so like. It's just so, it brings back, it's so nostalgic for me, but I think this game is kind of underrated and doesn't really get spoken of a lot because it gets overshadowed by a bunch of these other great, like I said, great titles and amazing titles that people are more familiar with. And this is just a licensed game. Usually licensed games, they're not that great. So, but this is one of those, rare instances where this licensed game was just so good, and it's just, it knocked it out of the park, man. Just shout out to THQ, the developers, and I think, was it Ubisoft? I can't even remember, but for sure, I don't even think THQ is around anymore.
I don't know.
But just Pixar and the developers of this game, because it holds a special place in my heart, and it's definitely still fun now. I still play it every now and then. Just for the music, but
it is a good the way the game opens with that like music, the
school of fish,
the sound effects. Yeah.
So you know what I'm talking about.
Oh man, that takes me back too.
Yeah, it's a good game, man. It's definitely gets overshadowed, but
for sure I would agree with that. Okay, so what I have for my game for the Game Boy Advance is obviously one of the all-time giants, and a part of me really wanted to just make this list. And not even like intentionally, but just the way it is with handhelds and Nintendo. I almost wanted so badly to just make this list with every single game that came out for these different handheld consoles, but I didn't. I tried to diversify my list, but I had to put this one on. So for Game Boy Advanced, I have Pokemon Ruby. Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald. I would have it in the whole trio.
Going back to what you said, that you wanted to make it most of these like Pokemon games, like
it's hard to not.
I think the Game Freak, the developers even said like Pokemon has and always will be a handheld game. It would just like whatever, I mean, obviously they delve into
at its
like
core.
They delve into like stuff like Pokken Tournament, stuff for home consoles, but like it will always be
even Legends Arceus coming out too.
Exactly. And but the main line of Pokemon games will always be on a handheld system, and because it's Switch, it's both. But it would all. They said that they always want to make it a handheld. But
right, in some form or fashion,
right.
it will
the
be
mainline games. So
main
but
series games.
So you said
Pokemon Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald, but specifically Ruby from my list.
For me, it's Emerald. I like Emerald more.
Yeah.
But Ruby, go ahead.
Well, that's more on just like a personal level, just because that's the one that I was given. That was my introduction into Pokemon. Was that series, 3rd generation, which that one came out in about around the same
03,
time.
Right?
Yeah,
0304, yeah.
0304. So I was like 4 or 5. Something like that.
Oh my god, that's cute.
And that was like, I mean, that's perfect age to start Pokemon. You know, you're in like, you're at that age where you're like, this is so cool. I suck at playing this game, but like, you know, it's just fun. It's fun to walk around.
I don't know where to go.
I mean, like, but that's the fun of it, you know, to explore, to randomly encounter all these crazy looking, you know, animals like with these crazy powers, you know. And like as a kid growing up, it was just so much fun to dive into that world, level up my Pokemon, do all the gym battles, you know, like get all the badges. It was just so fulfilling to my, you know, little 5-year-old mind, you know. And it's a great series. I also played Emerald. I've played Sapphire and Emerald too, like through its entirety. And I can't pick one over the other, except I would pick Ruby just for like a nostalgia purpose. Is the only reason it has something higher than the other two. But in terms of gameplay, that whole line of games, 3rd generation, was just so good.
Did they have different aspects, like to the Ruby, Emerald, Sapphire?
Oh yeah.
Like what were they?
Well, the different aspects, I mean, the main thing was, and this was I believe this was the first instance of this happening in like a main series Pokemon game, was the team. You know, like the bad guys. It's normally in the 2 prior generations, it was just Team Rocket. But in the 3rd generation, this was the first to introduce a new team, but they introduced 2 new teams, Team Magma and Team Aqua. So if you were to play Sapphire, you would have Team Aqua and their like their villainous plan, and then you'd have Team Magma if you played Ruby. But if you played Emerald, you'd get both teams. What? And yeah, you'd have both teams.
That's funny, I don't remember that.
Yeah, I think it was the first Pokemon game to do that.
That's a weird concept.
Yeah,
and like
having different villains, but in the same region, and then of course, you know.
Well, weird. When I say weird, I mean cool.
Yeah. Just unusual. Like it was the first of its kind to do that.
Yeah.
And then also too, you know, like every Pokemon game, you have region-specific Pokemons or game-specific Pokemons. So there were Pokemons that you could only get in Ruby, and then there were other Pokemons that you could only get in Sapphire or Emerald, and vice versa. But yeah, like, and then on top of that too, the story is a bit different in Emerald. The story is a bit different in Sapphire, and then in Ruby as well. And then of course, in Emerald, I believe you can get all 3 legendary Pokemon. Rayquaza, Kyogre, and Groudon, whereas in Ruby it's just Groudon, and then Sapphire is just
who's your
Kyogre. starter it was Torchic. I was like, I remember my logic as a kid was, well, I'm playing Ruby,
you're a fire guy, right?
Yeah, I'm playing Ruby, like I might as well pick the fire starter, you know. So that was my little kid logic back then. But I mean, that's just a great game, and like I still play it to this day. And that's what I have for Game Boy Advance.
Nice. Moving on to the next console, the DS.
Yep.
And
a lot of games to choose from here.
Yeah, there was a lot. And it's funny, for this one, my choice is going to be kind of basic. Actually, for the next 2 consoles, mine is going to be kind of basic. But I'm okay with that. Because these are just games that I enjoy playing, and they have so much replayability to them as well. And even I believe after the credits roll, there's more to do, which is a great thing to have in a game.
Yeah.
But for the DS, I have New Super Mario Bros.
Oh yeah.
And we've spoken on this before. You know, in a podcast. I'm sure that we've spoken about this before.
Yeah, I believe we have.
But this
I know
game,
we did show it off on the retro game.
Oh yeah.
A little bit.
This game it redefined the side-scrolling Mario games, like what it could be. It basically went back to its roots, but improved on it.
Yeah.
You know, it's basically all of those Super Mario games, 2.0. It introduced, the huge mushroom that made Mario, big and stomp over everything, right? It had multiplayer.
Yeah.
Right? It introduced multiplayer in a Mario game that had never before done. And the mini games on...
To a main series Mario.
Yeah,
we'll
right.
say.
And the mini games on this they're so fun. And I believe, that's multiplayer too, right?
The mini games?
The mini games?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I know that you told me that you used to play with your sisters, right?
All the time. The mini games.
Yeah, so...
And that stuff will get addictive. Like, it gets competitive too. You're just like... I remember there was this one where you're rolling down a snowball.
Yeah, that's the one I was thinking
race.
about. And you gotta like avoid the penguins.
Yeah. And I remember like just like smashing the heck out of my screen, going, "Come on!" Like with the
because you gotta roll it with the stylus.
With the stylus, and I was just like,
and then you gotta turn and like, man, it's a
Such
great
fun
game. Yeah,
games.
yeah. I mean, like, and again, it redefined the whole line of Super Mario games, the side-scrolling, right?
Yeah.
And just gave it the kick in the pants that it needed and the upgrade that it needed. And now it's stuff in that game is being used all the time. And it released, I believe, the same time around the new Super Mario Bros. For the Wii.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So that was the one for the home console, but this was the one for the handheld DS console. Right. And they're both of those games are so good.
Yeah,
I have both of them. So, but yeah, man, this is a game that is very well. Whenever I think of Nintendo DS, this is what I think of.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I have.
Great game, great choice. I was really tempted to put that one too.
Oh, thank God you didn't.
Yeah, I know, right? But again, as I noted before, I did very much struggle to not have every single
list,
game.
Man. This is your list. Nobody can take that away from you.
Be Pokemon, but I had to again. 4th generation Pokemon games. That's what I have as for the DS, specifically Platinum, Pokemon Platinum.
And they're getting remakes.
Yep, and I'm so excited for that.
And we're getting that next month, baby.
Yeah.
You better believe it.
We're getting that what is it? Shining
Pearl and Brilliant Diamond.
Brilliant Diamond, yeah, it's Brilliant Diamond.
Which one are you getting?
Probably Pearl.
Yeah, I'm getting Diamond.
Yeah, because I got Diamond, the original Diamond when it came out. So I was like, let me get Pearl for this one.
But it's funny we get like the opposite ones because I know for Sword and Shield we have the opposite.
Yeah, I have Shield.
And we're like, you're a fire guy, I'm a water guy. Anyway, I just think that's cool. But anyway, tell us more about Platinum. Because it was Platinum, right?
Yeah, it was Platinum.
Tell us more about Platinum because that's the game that I've only seen the beginning of, and I don't really know much about it, and I want to get hyped for the new remix. So, tell me about it.
Platinum is, I mean, it follows pretty much the main story of like the other two games, save for a couple differences, but it's revolves around Team Galactic. That's the team in that for that
they're the bad guys,
series.
right?
Yeah, they're the bad guys, and Cyrus is the leader. But that game, it just it's hard to describe like how, because I don't want to spoil the story too much, but I will get you hype on the fact that every single Pokemon in that generation is so like unique and well thought out, and every single like the legendaries in that Pokemon I think are in that Pokemon. The legendaries in that region I think are great. The story I think is great. It delves a lot into like ancient Pokemon and like ancient history of Pokemon and stuff like that. It provides a lot of like backstory to the whole origin of Pokemon. Like what with Arceus being sort of like the creator of the Pokemon world and things. Oh yeah,
like the Pokemon god.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. So it really dives into like a sort of like a mythical and kind of like an origin story of the whole world itself, and how time itself was created by Dialga, and space itself was created by Palkia.
Is this the one where you go to the library and you find all that stuff?
Oh yeah, there's also like a library we can read into it too. Nice. And then Garantina is sort of like this weird like amalgamation of like the darkness that was left over, and it was banished into a completely other realm. Like it's so, it goes beyond just like, you know, any other Pokemon game had gone before, you know. It goes beyond that
as far as like the backstory goes,
backstory wise, yeah. And it's super interesting, and it provides a lot of like, it provides a really crazy narrative for like just how powerful and like intense these Pokemon are, you know. And I was fully invested when that game came out. I thought it was a great story.
It's funny that you mentioned that, because like a lot of people think of like, when it comes to Pokemon, they're like, oh, cute little Pokemon, and cute little... But like in this world, like Pokemon aren't tame.
Yeah.
Like they're not, like, they will kill you. Like, you know what I mean? Like they can kill you. But we just think a lot of like the times where it's just like, oh, like, you know, because they're with trainers most of the time. Like even at like trained Pokemon can have the tendency to freaking be lethal, like, you know, to be deadly. And you know, that whole like darkness and that whole like how, you know, intense that these Pokemon can be. You know, I think it's something that people forget. And when they look at Pokemon,
they play in the world,
and when they look at Pokemon, people see Pokemon, they see like a kid's game, and they see like, oh, like, you know, like it's just for little kids, or like this is just a dumb little. But dude, there is some dark and like crazy stuff that goes on in the world of Pokemon. Do you want to know
Cryptic,
Do you
morbid.
want to know what Abra is, or was it Kadabra, or what it originally was? Like it was like a little kid that died or something.
Oh yeah, there's and
like, that's so like stuff like that. There's a whole bunch of stuff. But anyway, Pokemon Platinum. I'm super excited to play this game for the first time. And it's like it has a whole new makeover, but it looks the same. As far as like the little monitos on it, like, you know, it had like the little figures that it has, you know, walking around. It just got a new coat of paint, HD, you know, all of that stuff. So
yeah, I agree. I'm excited for that game too. But yeah, that's what I got for the DS.
Nice. And speaking of the DS, Nintendo thought it would be cool to freaking come up with this brand new concept that was really hip and edgy at the time that this came out. And it was 3D. We're getting 3D Blu-ray players. We got 3D TVs. We got 3D movies. And they just like thought this was going to be like the biggest thing about it. And it turned out to be like not even the reason why people bought this. And this console didn't even do that well, apparently, you know, on launch. But it got popular, you know, with time. And the games are really
Nintendo catered to.
Yeah, they
like
know.
With the 2DS
they know if they make a mistake, they can make up for it with the content and whatever. So, but for 3DS, man, I have the game that I have is Super Mario 3D Land. Now, my favorite iteration of the 3DS consoles would have to be the Nintendo 2DS XL.
Yeah, I would agree with that too.
It has the big screen. It's comfortable, you know, and this is what I played Super Mario 3D Land on. So I didn't even play for the 3D, although playing it in 3D has its advantages. Playing it on 2D is just as fun and just as great of a time. So this game is basically was the answer to Super Mario 3D World on the Wii U. This was its answer to the home game. I mean, this was its answer to the handheld side of that. So this is 3D Land, and this game, I don't think is spoken of about either, even though it is really popular. But it did something really well in that the level, everything in this game is top notch. I believe in my mind, it's on par with New Super Mario Bros. For the DS. This is literally that for the 3DS consoles. Every level is designed so well. Every nook and cranny of this game, there was so much thought and love that was put into this game, and the way that it works in the 3D space, not only even with the 3D turned off, the way that it is like super 3D, three-dimensional as far as its like level design and the way that it looks. So like there's a lot of times where it is side scrolling, but then it turns into like you're seeing him from the back, you're seeing him from the side, you're seeing him from on top, and like you've got to traverse in this 3D world, and it makes it really challenging but super fun. The gameplay is just so it's a master in masterfully made when it comes to the gameplay. of how you can move around and how you jump and you think you're going to land somewhere, but you don't. So you got to be really careful about where your placement is. In 3D, it's easier, but on the 2DS, it proves a good enough challenge, but it doesn't make it too challenging. It's so fun. And the music in this is incredible. The bosses in this game are incredible. Bowser is usually like the big boss at the end of like each stages of the end of the the stages
The
and
worlds,
the worlds. Yeah. So at the end of each world, you have Bowser to fight, and those levels are always so fun and hard, kind of hard, but I don't know. I had fun with it, and it's definitely a game that if you've never played it before, you need to
get a copy
and play this, because man, this game holds a special place in my heart, and my favorite for the 3DS consoles.
Nice. So what I have for 3DS is this is also going back to the previous podcast we did. I kind of have a little continuity there because on the last podcast we did doing the home consoles for Wii U, I chose Super Smash Brothers for Wii U. And now on the other side of the spectrum, I'm choosing for the 3DS Super Smash Brothers for the 3DS. Because
that is a game that I have too, and man, that game holds up as well.
It does. It really does. And I was amazed. Like when I first got it, I thought it was going to be... I thought what a lot of people thought, because I remember a lot of people were super skeptical when it came out. They were, not everyone was a fan of the design. Not everyone thought that they were going to be able to keep track of their character, while they're playing on such a small screen. And, again, the idea of having 3D put into it, a lot of people were skeptical that would even look good for a game like Super Smash Brothers,
Right.
But I remember when it came out, I got it, and I thought it was great. I never had any issues with being able to follow my character, or keep track of where my character was. I thought the game handled great. I was skeptical about the gameplay, having to translate all of that stuff that you normally play on a controller, having to then switch over to completely handheld. I thought it was going to be rough, I was like, I'm not going to get used to just playing on this little handheld, but it was super easy, and it was fun, and multiplayer was great. I had a lot of fun time playing with my cousins, and on top of that too, we mentioned this, or actually you mentioned it, that you could use your 3DS controller to play the Wii U version.
You could definitely use it as a controller for Smash Bros on Wii U. And it's funny, you didn't even need to have the copy of Super Smash Bros for the 3DS. All you needed to do was, this is the only sucky thing about it, but you needed to purchase an app in the 3DS store, on the e-store,
right.
it only costs $1, maybe $1.99, right? But that's all you really need to get in order to use it for your controller. But I think they need to do this for Switch. They need to bring something like that, if you have a Switch Lite and you want to play, with people in the living room, right? Yeah. For Ultimate,
that would be great, actually.
Or even if you don't want to use a Joy-Con, if you have your Switch, I guess you can connect to the same room that they are, but they should have something where you can just use that as a controller, the whole Switch as a controller, rather than it would work better with Switch Lite, but
yeah, for sure.
But yeah, man, 3DS Smash Bros is incredibly done. It was done really well. It was, at the time, it was literally the only good way, really the only thing if you wanted to play Smash on the go, this was the way to go. And that's a good pick for...
and that's what I did.
For 3DS.
I took full advantage of that. I took full advantage of being able to use it on the go, and I used to play that game anywhere I was at, everywhere I was at. Just building up the roster of characters, and it was just great. It was great.
I have it. I don't remember unlocking. You had to unlock them?
You had to unlock some. Yeah.
Some of them?
Well,
I guess there's some I haven't unlocked then.
No, well, when I say some, I mean the DLC. You had to get the DLC,
gotcha.
Mewtwo and.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
That's what I meant. But yeah, great game. That's what I have for 3DS.
Fantastic. Well, it's funny that we're on the, subject of Smash Bros. Because we have the Switch now. Now, we included the Switch in the last podcast for the home consoles. And I believe our picks for that were, yours was Animal Crossing.
Yeah.
And mine was, right. And mine was Super Mario Odyssey and Breath of the Wild. Because I couldn't pick, so... But let's
cheated the system.
I did cheat the system, but
but it's understandable.
Yeah, because it's what
hard.
are you gonna do? It's our show. But for mine, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, I would pick next for the Switch.
Yeah.
For handheld, even though it's both this hybrid, but Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, arguably the greatest Smash Bros. Game of all time. I mean, Sakurai just really outdid himself. He really did pour his blood, sweat, and tears into this game.
Yeah.
And with the addition to Sora on this game,
yeah.
this is literally the thing that I have been waiting for. Like people would ask me, well, who would you put? Like
that was the ribbon on the top of the
for me it'd be like,
there.
I know this is like at the time, what's funny, at the time that I was asked, I didn't know that Sora was such a big thing that people wanted.
Oh yeah,
and I think they did a poll for Smash Bros 3DS. Yeah, and they had asked what character would you put in, and most people said Sora. I didn't know that this was a really big deal or something that a lot of people wanted. I was just like, who would be cool? Sora, like because I really wasn't
definitely
too
one of the top ones.
Yeah, I really wasn't too into Nintendo at the time, know. So, but when they finally, man, that last Smash Direct, man. It was finally Sora, and like
it was satisfying.
All of our dreams, had come true. I know people wanted somebody else, but whatever. We got Sora. That was
I mean, and I can give you like 10 other people that I think would be cool in that game.
Yeah,
but, like,
I mean, there's I think there's an infinite amount of like characters that you can say that
people wanted Goku in the game.
But people wanted Waluigi, right?
Yeah.
People wanted
Shantae, people wanted Rayman, people wanted
Master Chief.
People wanted what's his name, Kratos.
Kratos would be so good.
Professor Layton.
Okay, we're getting off topic. But Super Smash Bros. Ultimate,
Master Chief.
Yeah, man, they wanted that.
I remember that.
But Super Smash Ultimate, man, it's such a celebration of gaming itself, because you've got all these people from different IPs, different companies, Microsoft, Nintendo, now PlayStation, Disney even, right? Because of Sora, right? It's Kingdom Hearts,
Capcom.
It's got. I'm surprised that
Bandai Namco.
I'm surprised that Disney even let them do that, because like, I know it's not like a Disney character, but like he's got that Mickey logo at the end of his key, and I'm surprised they even let them do that. So hats off to Disney, hats off to Sakurai for freaking pulling this off. But this is literally a celebration of gaming itself, and I think that's why Smash Bros will always be, in my opinion, the greatest fighting games of all time. I mean, yes, I love Street Fighter. Yes, we love Tekken. Yes, we love Mortal Kombat. All great, all iconic. Just to me, Smash Bros is such a celebration of everything, of gaming in general, and it is a reason why it will always be the best for me. So that's my pick. So what have you got?
Well, so what I had for the previous podcast was I had picked, like we said, Animal Crossing: New Horizon, which is a great game.
Is good.
But what I have now for this list is Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild. Insanely standalone, like Zelda game, like really well put together. I mean, story is phenomenal. Graphics are phenomenal. Like
even better on the OLED, I hear.
I know, and I'm excited to see that too. And I'm just like, playing that game was such a crazy experience, and I have unfortunately not been able to finish it, but I've put in a good amount of time into it, and of course I know the whole, how the whole main story goes, but this is like one of my all-time favorite Switch games. Another great thing I really like about that game is just us, of course, being musicians, I've gotta respect the music in that game. It's so
Oh,
ethereal.
you mean just little hits on the piano?
I know, right? Like that's one thing that it's understandable, but like if you are a true musician, you understand
how brilliant it is.
Yeah, like just the ambiance, the ethereal, like
the mood that it sets.
Yeah.
And like the timing. I know that we've spoken about this like on our own time.
Yeah, timing
the
is
timing of the music is like so important.
And just it's placed so perfectly whenever it needs to be played, and I mean, come on, it just honestly, that music is so like it's not in your face, it's not like trying to do all this stuff or whatever, like it's just sometimes it'll like send a chill down my spine.
Yeah, dude. When you're like out in the open, or you're if you're
and
like
you just hear, like,
or if you're like in like this huge like ravine and like there's a bunch of rocks like on top of you, like, and you're just like, and you're trying to like round a corner and you hear that like you're like, dang,
something's here.
Like, that chill, like okay, I gotta watch out, right? Or like, oh man, like I know exactly what you're saying.
Mean, and it does it so well. So well. It provides so much for the game already, like in addition to all of the other great aspects of the game that make it such a great open world game.
I spoke about this with my friend Kyle. Shout out to Kyle. And he said that what? Why are you laughing?
Because nobody can see that.
Shout out to Kyle, bro. Yeah, dude. Anyway, so we were talking, and the thing that he said is that he didn't finish the game. I think he still had a couple of the great divine beasts to unlock, but that he said that he unlocked 2, and that he spent so much time just being in that world, going around, doing quests, doing what he needed to do, that if he wanted to, he could literally stop, never play that game again, but he got everything that he needed to get out of that game. Because that game it's so much stuff you can do, and like so many hours that you can spend doing all this stuff, and it's just I would say it's one of the best, if not the best, one of the best RPGs, open world RPGs of all time. So
it's a great like opening to that franchise, because for me personally, because I don't have a whole lot of experience with like open world RPGs and stuff like that.
To the genre, right?
To the genre, it was a great opening into that like genre of gaming.
I gotta let you play Skyrim then.
I know, I've never played.
Never, have it on Switch?
Never held a Skyrim game in my entire life.
It's great, man. It's pretty great. So
I need to.
We're gonna get that. We're gonna get that. But yeah, man.
So yeah, there you go. That's what I have for Nintendo Switch.
Well, that was our favorite handheld Nintendo games, and going through each handheld Nintendo console and our favorite games on there. And this list was unorthodox. It was weird. It was basic at times, but I think it has a good balance.
It was unpredictable and predictable at the same time. Yeah.
But man, I mean, it's a testament to how great these games are, and that they're great for a reason, and that they just do a lot to,
they speak to people.
And I think a lot of it has to do with nostalgia too. But shout out to everybody listening here, whether it be on our YouTube page or whether it be through Spotify, Anchor, or Apple Podcasts or anything like that. Let us know your favorites. We want to hear them. We want to hear your favorites, like your favorite Nintendo console games, Nintendo handheld games, favorite games in general.
Write an essay. Send it to us. Mail it to
us.
Write
an essay.
12-point font.
Oh my God, Times New Roman. But just
cite your work.
Let us know. Show your work. Let us know. Not even that. Just like if you love PlayStation, Xbox, we love that too. But this is not a purely Nintendo only. Yeah. We do talk about that is the main thing we talk about. But we love gaming in general. Like we were just at games. We literally were just at GameStop today, and I was thinking about picking up an Xbox game. Xbox and PlayStation game, so we love it. We need to hear more from you guys, and we'll definitely have more stuff coming in the future, but yeah. Well, that about wraps up another episode. Thank you guys for listening. Remember to follow us on Instagram at NintenFriends.
And you can listen to us on Spotify, the Anchor app, as well as on YouTube.
From us here in Nintendo Friends, thanks for being our player too. We hope you can join us next time to play.